Coming up on RNE-TV, see how student academic performance is falling and what the school and district are doing to help.
Plus, hear how the pandemic is impacting animal adoptions, and you get to learn some money management tips. Get ready, because RNE-TV starts now. Good morning. Today is Friday, February 26, 2020. My name is Christy Perez, and today is your Flex Friday. We're a month into third quarter, and as the first semester wrapped up, the grades are showing how student achievement has been affected by the virtual and the hybrid model learning. Richland 2 has made changes to their grading policies because of it. Here's RNE-TV reporter Karina Span with more.
Okay, now.
In fall of 2020, the hybrid model option became available for Richland Northeast students, partitioning them into two groups, those who returned to in-person instruction and those who stayed home to continue e-learning.
So we have dual modality for teachers to use that to teach the students that are both in front of them, face-to-face, and those that are on home, online.
While e-learning from home can provide a sense of comfort and familiarity, when students' only supervisor is on their screen, other online distractions are sure to follow.
Just put on the TV and kind of like forget about the online class because you're not physically in the classroom.
It's more difficult because, when you're at home, you're sitting there like, oh, let me go on my phone, and you're in the middle of class.
Navigating technology can be burdensome enough. On top of that, students often feel the pressures of helping to take care of family members, becoming a monitor for their siblings, or even beginning or continuing to work.
Although they are home, they're having to take on other responsibilities, like helping younger siblings with their online learning.
Staying engaged in school can require more effort when classmates are split between virtual and in-person learning, and some students' natural response is to disconnect.
Most times the teachers will do it not purposely, but they'll pay more attention to the students that are in the classroom physically, and then it kind of makes me feel excluded. I just kind of exit out.
Some of them are not motivated and they have stopped doing work, or they just have felt like they just want to give up on their schoolwork.
In quarter two of the previous school year, 19% of student grades were failing grades. This year in quarter two, that number was 26%, a 7% increase.
The number of students who are not performing well and passing at this point in the school year, which is second quarter, it has increased.
To meet students where they are in these challenges, teachers are changing their usual methods in effort to adapt.
What I'm having to adjust and do is do more with less. Teach more, but with less pieces.
Every Friday I usually host a review session before we get ready to take a test, so the students can join the review sessions on Friday to get that extra help.
Beyond RNE, Richland School District 2 took a step forward in accommodating students and created a 40% grade minimum, as well as a credit recovery process.
Now offered content recovery, but if they have a 59 or below for quarter two, a student can do content recovery, and if they do the content recovery and make a 60 or above, then they will get a 60 for quarter two. There's something that just came down the pike from the district office where if a student had below a 40, the floor is a 40 now.
Even in respect of the pandemic, the district's grading policy is still in effect. Students can always monitor their grades using PowerSchool and communicate with their teachers for any help they may need. Signing off for RNE-TV, I'm Karina Span.
The junior class gathers in the gym on Wednesday, February 17th to receive their class rings. The rings symbolize the students' hard work and dedication in the classroom. Although COVID-19 restrictions forced changes to the traditional ceremony, students and staff were still able to enjoy a memorable experience.
Actually, we usually have it in the media center. It's more intimate, but we could not have it in media center this year because of the 6 feet restrictions. So we had to move it to the gymnasium.
It means me growing, having more experience, more education.
I was just so happy for them, and with everything going on, it was just a sense of some type of normalcy.
The class of 2022.
Yesterday was the Black History Month Assembly. You can watch it again by going to @RNE-TV on social media. Student government will be hosting their very own Food for the Soul drive-thru event tonight from 5:30 to 6:30. It'll be open to the entire community and they're giving out free meals. During African American History Month, we like to celebrate African American trailblazers. Did you know Max Robinson was the first African American news network anchor here in the U.S.? Tweet us your favorite trailblazer @CatFlex. In the past, we've covered how the pandemic has affected people in very negative ways. But there's one group that's thriving through this time. RNE-TV reporter Jackson Batet went to Pets Inc. to see how animal adoptions are growing during the COVID-19 pandemic.
Puppy adoptions are moments of happiness and love for those who are looking for a special companion.
I love dogs. I've always had them ever since I was 6 years old. I've never not had a dog. I don't even know what it'd be like to not have a dog.
When considering an adoption, it is important to have lots of free time and patience.
Got the luxury of being able to work from home, and it's allowed me to spend more time with her as a puppy, which has, I think, really helped her development and becoming more house trained, probably faster than she would have otherwise.
COVID-19 has made room in the hearts and schedules of many people for a new furry friend.
COVID-19 was the perfect time to adopt because Barry was allowed to work from home starting in March. And so he was able to be there during that critical time when she was a puppy.
Adoption centers such as Pet Inc. serve the underprivileged animals of our community.
We do a couple different things here, but the whole goal of our organization is to serve homeless and overpopulated pets around the Midlands. But in addition to doing that, we're also able to offer full-service, low-cost veterinary services.
Since the beginning of COVID-19, shelters, breeders, and adoption centers have reported an increase in demand as Americans are attempting to find companionship during these tough times.
So we have our adoptions and especially our foster program have boomed since COVID happened. We've had so many people, since they're staying home, working from home, that they are wanting to adopt animals or foster them because they're saying, hey, I have time.
If you're thinking about adopting a pet, call 803-739-9333. Signing off for RNE-TV, I'm Jackson Batet.
Thanks, Jackson. I'm definitely a softie for the adorable puppy shots. They're so cute. Coming up after the break, we get an all-new winter sports update and some new tips on money management. We'll be right back. Don't get stuck where you are. Achieve your dreams. Become college and career ready so you can graduate. You can become CCR by scoring well on the SAT, ACT, or ASVAB, get a 3 or higher on the AP or IB exam, receive work-based learning credit by having a job, complete an industry certification, or become a cake completer.
On January 6th, members of the Proud Boys raided the Washington State House. This was an act of domestic terrorism, but many argue that it was only a protest. When comparing these events to those of the Black Lives Matter movement, anyone can see the many discrepancies. On one hand, the Black Lives Matter protesters were considered thugs, but the Proud Boys were great patriots, stated by the former president. The former president also stated, when the looting starts, the shooting starts, towards the Black Lives Matter movement, but then stated that the Proud Boys were great patriots who've been badly and unfairly treated for so long. In many ways, the Black Lives Matter protesters and the Proud Boys were treated differently. In the Bill of Rights, we were given the right to peacefully assemble, but this isn't held for everyone. When members of the Black Lives Matter movement tried to protest, they were met with rubber bullets and tear gas, but the Proud Boys did not face these same reprimands. Members of the Black Lives Matter movement have faced harsher punishments because of their skin tone, But isn't this why they're protesting? In America, African Americans make up 26% of the crime, but black men are 2.5 more times likely to be killed by police than white men, and black women are 1.4 times more likely to be killed compared to white women, even though white Americans make up 70% of the crime. During the Black Lives Matter protests in D.C. from May 30th to June 2nd, 2020, there were 427 arrests made, but during the storming of the Capitol as of January 22nd, only 135 arrests have been made. How can we say that all men are created equal when people of color are treated differently in our country? Is it truly more patriotic to stay complacent than it is to better ourselves and those around us? Why is it that some people can exercise their rights freely but others face constant scrutiny? These are questions that we must ask ourselves if we want to hold the standard that all men are created equal. Signing off for RNE-TV, I'm Imania Roach.
The name of my business is Real True Productions. We have anything from clothing items to accessories.
So how do you make your clothing for your business?
When I get the thoughts of like different logos or designs I can use, I'll go and sketch them out and then I'll send them to like a friend and he'll do it digitally. So therefore I can just go to the Printful website and just post the digital one he made and design it on the clothes how I would like for it to go.
Have you experienced any difficulties because of the virus?
The main issue that I have came across was the fact that shipping is now longer. So when it used to be like a week, now it's goes on anything from a week to 2. And that really has slowed everything down.
Mac wants to expand her business and plans on having her own shop.
My future plans are to come up with like more designs that I don't really see often and to eventually get big with just selling online to where I can get like a small shop.
You can visit her website at realtrueproductions.bigcartel.com.
Welcome back. It's hard to believe that we're already in the second semester of the school year. Trust me, it's going to be a year to remember. So, the yearbook is helping you out by keeping track of everything going on. Yearbooks are for sale at johnsonsyearbooks.com and they're only $80. Winter sports have come to a close. They've had to overcome a lot as far as COVID restrictions and game cancellations. Here's your all-new Sports 360. What's up, Cavs? Welcome back to this edition of Sports 360. I'm Juliet Maxfield. As the winter sports season is coming to a close, let's start with the girls varsity basketball. The team hosted Dreer on January 29th, but fell to the Blue Devils with a final score of 70-11. The Cavaliers faced Westwood on February 5th, but made the decision to forfeit at halftime. The abrupt end raised questions from many fans spectating the game, wondering what happened.
I only had 5 players for the game. One was already out injured, and before halftime I had 3 girls get injured. So for their health, we decided to call it.
We had 5 players, 4 out of 5 of us. We were injured in some way, shape, or form. We were not, 100% ready to get through that game.
The girls ended their season with a final record of 0-7. Boys varsity tipped off against Westwood on February 5th. The Cavaliers started off strong with a layup from Marcus Anderson. The Cavs increased their score with a free throw from Amir Cherry. Westwood responded with free throws and a layup of their own. The Cavaliers found themselves down 32-25 at halftime. The Cavs then made a strong comeback, bringing the score to 43-40 at the end of the third quarter. The Redhawks held on to their lead, defeating the Cavaliers 56-48. The boys ended their season with a final record of 5-6. Construction on the new home football stadium began over the summer. The project was funded through the 2018 bond referendum. Richland Northeast Stadium has made significant progress with the away side bleachers already up and some of the other structures taking shape.
On schedule right now to be sometime finished around May, and it depends on whether the weather continues or not between May and June before they actually finish the stadium, and then of course we got to put down the artificial turf on the field inside and stuff there. So
this construction will move some of our fall sports other locations. We will update you on the new locations on our social media pages once the schedules are finalized. Well, that wraps up this edition of Sports 360. Remember to follow @CavFlex on Twitter and Instagram for the latest updates and scores. Reporting for RNE-TV, I'm Juliet Maxfield. Spring sports kick off tonight with a baseball scrimmage at 6. We'll have more with spring sports on our next show. Teens have various ways of earning money, whether it's working in a grocery store or fast food restaurants. But what can you do with that money now to set yourself up for the future? Here are a few tips.
As the ongoing pandemic and recession have put a restraint on the economy, learning how to manage money wisely has become imperative over the past few months since the outbreak. But learning how to manage your money effectively is simple by following these simple tips. Making a budget. When creating a budget, you define a specific amount of money that you can spend for over a period of time. This practice can be applied with shopping, paying bills, or even taxes.
Having a budget keeps you on task of what you want to do, let's say 6 months from now or a year from now. So if you stay on that budget, you create a budget, you spend what that budget says you're going to spend and put the remaining on the savings.
Keep track of spending. Keeping track of spending is the practice of checking how much money you spent on products. You can keep track of your spending by adding up the cost of each product and subtracting the sum from your current balance in your account. Having good credit card management. Having a credit card is a privilege, but it requires responsibility. In order to avoid credit card debt, try to only use your credit card in specific situations, such as emergencies.
So the best way to use it is to basically assume you have it on your checking, because by using your credit card, you'll basically building credit history, maintain good credit history, and control your debt. So if you use your credit card, you pay it back.
Save up. Remember to save your money is essential, as you could use that money to buy material items, emergencies, and college tuition. So if you receive money from a relative, or even find it off the ground, save it in your wallet or jar for later. And remember, Cavs, money management takes time, so remember to educate yourself. Reporting for RNE-TV, I'm Jalen George.
Thanks, Jalen. As a senior that's getting ready to pay for college next year, I can definitely say that saving money is important. Well, that's the end of today's show. Make sure to keep an eye out on our social media to check out even more stories that didn't make it on the show. Reporting for RNE-TV, I'm Christy Perez, and remember, it's always a great day to be a Cavalier.